This is our path to take you through the current challenges to the other side, where we can take advantage of the opportunities that will be ahead for most of us. So we suggest we're currently in the lockdown phase. Now, some people have come through this, but what was the lockdown phase, and how will we describe the lockdown phase? Well, the lockdown phase is the set of instabilities and lack of surety that has been created as a result of the current outbreak. So not very long ago, when the outbreak was clearly going to have a big impact on us, we were asked to start to change our social behaviours, to isolate ourselves on more and social distance. Now, very quickly, there was more regulation in enforcing that set of behaviours. We immediately went into the pubs, the clubs, the restaurants being shut down, and only 3 days later, because we clearly weren't as a nation adhering to the social distancing, we were then taken into a period of lockdown, where we were asked to self-isolate in our homes. Now, it may be we go to a next stage of enforced lockdown. We've seen this in other countries where we've enforced to, and the police will enforce this lockdown with us. Now, we don't know whether that'll happen or not, but what we can say about the last 10 days, 2 weeks, is there's been massive change, massive, pretty much daily change, and change creates instability and insecurity in us. So many of us will have a feeling of fear, of panic, of not really know what to do, and that's totally understandable. But once we get into more stability, even with a changed regime, even in these lockdown situations, eventually most of us will come through that and get a level of stability that allows us to start thinking about the future. And it's really key that we do that. Now, right now, many of us are looking at the financial and personnel issues around our businesses. Some of us are having to go into full lockdown. Some of us are having to go to partial or full layoff, or furloughing of our team, and we need to get through that, and it's totally understandable. But at some point, and hopefully for many of us that'll be fairly soon, we can look at the next steps. So the next phase for us is to move into what we call the training phase, the training and planning phase. So we now know we're in a new norm. We can start to look at what the future will hold. Now, if you look at the end of the training phase, we've got a star there that says at some point we believe the end of lockdown will be announced for a point in the future. There will be a gap between when the announcement comes and when we're actually allowed to go into business a little bit more as usual. It probably won't be completely back to normal, but we will start to see some changes. So we have a time scale between now and then. Now, you'll have your own view of what that is, but I suggest it's no more than a few weeks, maximum months, before that happens. So we have a massive opportunity right now to start to plan, to train, to pivot our businesses to be ready for the new situation. Now, for many of us, it may just be business as usual, just go back to doing what you're doing. But I'd suggest things like the marketing of what we do, the selling of what we do, will probably have to change it for most businesses. But for many businesses, we should be planning, training, and certainly reviewing how we operate in the new environment, because the socio-economic landscape has changed and will change. And if we just think things will just be back to normal and just do what we used to do, probably that won't happen. There's a great book by a guy called Marshall Goldsmith who said, "What got us here won't get us there." And that's probably really relevant right now. It's probably going to be different. So let's start to plan and train and strategize on what that's going to look like up until the point when the end of lockdown will be announced. So at the point at which lockdown or the end of lockdown is announced, we will have a phase of warming up. Let's say that's a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks maybe, or even a few days. We have the opportunity to start to re-engage with our clients, with our team, and with our business as a whole. We start to get ready for the sprint that will come. Okay, we have an opportunity still. There's probably less business being done. We can get things ready. We can warm people up. Team that have been laid off or furloughed, we may be bringing them back in, maybe in slightly different roles. So there may be some training that we've set up in the previous phase that we need to train them back into what we expect things to happen. We may have different levels of KPIs and reporting and how we're going to actually operate. So this is an opportunity to get ready for what we believe is the sprint that will come the other side of the end of lockdown for most businesses. So we believe once lockdown ends, we will be into a sprint phase. This is an opportunity to really take advantage of the opening of our marketplaces again. People will be out there. They will be wanting our products and services that they previously were buying. That's definitely going to happen. And if we're not ready to provide those services, if we haven't got the team ready, if we haven't got the systems ready, if we haven't got the delivery mechanisms ready, and they may be slightly different, then we're not going to take advantage as well as we could do of this key phase. Now again, this is a phase when everyone's out there, everyone's going and buying more and continuing that whole social process that perhaps we haven't had for the previous weeks or months. So it's a real opportunity. If we're not ready for it, and our competitors are, then we may lose out in this real opportunity. And that's a phase of sprint. That's the key change that's going to happen when we come out the other side, the first phase of coming out of the other side of this. So once that initial sprint phase is complete, people have got out there, they've bought, they've got involved with our businesses again, they've re-engaged with us, providing we've done the training and warm-up phases, then ultimately it will get eventually back to a business as usual situation, or business as similarly usual. It probably won't be totally the same as it was before the outbreak, but it will be similar. Again, we need to be ready for that. Do we have all the systems in place? Do we have the resources in place to go back to business as usual? And this phase we're in right now is an opportunity to strategize and to think what it's going to be like, so that we can be ready to make sure our business is in the right position to continue to open for business and to take our businesses forward into what we hopefully will believe will be a bright new world. So going back to the training and warm-up phases, which we should be moving into, and some businesses we're working with have already moved into, this is the real opportunity phase to pivot our businesses, to get them ready, to plan and be ready and continue to market, maybe change our marketing into the marketplace to make sure we take advantage of the sprint phase and the compete and grow phase. Now, if we sit around and wait and hope and think, we may lose out. We probably will lose out, because I suspect our competition, other people in the marketplace, will be doing this. What also, it's really great opportunity for many of us have a bit more time on our hands to think. Many of the people we work with are so busy working in our businesses, doing the work, managing the business, they rarely have the time to think and strategize about how the business could be improved, could be better, irrespective of the current situation. Most businesses could be massively improved with more think time. And that's what we're working on with our clients right now, and those are the sort of planning sessions that we're running for free on the web to help as many businesses as we can start to strategize, plan and structure themselves, be ready for the opportunities that will definitely come the other side of this challenging situation. So please let us know how we can help you best through these processes. Most people aren't trained to strategize, to plan, to structure, to remarket and pivot their businesses. So please let us know how we can help you in your business right now.